Hey guys, how's it all going? It's Footyman03 and today we are doing round number 3 of AJ Predicts. Last week I got 5 tips correct last week, but as the season's unfolding so far, it's becoming very easy to predict my games. So hopefully the trend continues this week. No guest on the panel this week. I've had to rush to get the content up, and for that I'm extremely apologetic for that. So we'll move straight into round number 3 of the Telstra Premiership, as you can see. So, as you can see at the moment, we're actually very looking forward to it, but round number 3, there's a couple interesting games, as you can barely see, so I'm just going to pause and fix it for the moment. There we go, we fixed it. So, anyway, we're going to go straight into the grand final replay that we've all been waiting for. Melbourne taking on North Queensland. North Queensland were beaten by a goalpost padding last week. Go check the video, they got beaten by a fucking goalpost padding. Broncos' new major signing, lined up alongside Ivan Milat, Malcolm Naden and Martin Bryant. The Storm, they were very disappointing. They did what the Roosters did and thought they were going to walk in to Billy Slater's 300th and absolutely smash it, but they were proven wrong, and I give full credit to the Tigers. They've done an outstanding job this season, and they should be rewarded for what they've done. But we'll get to the Tigers in a minute. But first, this game. The Cowboys pack beat the Broncos pack last week. No question about it. No question about it did their pack win last week. And that's why I'm going to tip the North Queensland Cowboys. Next game, the Canterbury disgraceful Bulldogs taking on the Penrith racist Panthers. As you all should not be aware by now, there's been a racist incident report lodged against a Penrith supporter who was screaming racist insults at Greg Inglis. Racism does not have a place in this sport, no matter what you say. Racism should not be tolerated for anything that is in our game of rugby league. And if it is, you should hang your heads in shame. It doesn't matter where you're from, everyone should be respected for what they are, and I don't care if you're a Maori, an Aboriginal, or even a Caucasian Australian. You should all be treated with respect, no ifs, ands, or buts. It doesn't matter. You should just be respectful. And funnily enough, I'm recording it on Harmy today. So my poll question this week, and I've had a good response to the poll questions I've conducted so far. Do you think that the Penrith fans who are allegedly going to get life bans are being double standard compared to Matt Lodge? Hang on, I'll rephrase that. Do you think Penrith fans should be... do you think NRL fans should be given life bans for racist insults? Yes or no, that's my question this week. But going back to the footy, the Bulldogs, they've got to fix their attack. They let in, when the Roosters had a man in the sin bin, 7 straight sets of 6. And the Roosters held on. So that just shows how predictable their attack is. Penrith, they've just been turning up late to dinner parties and they get the job done somehow. So I'm going to stick with that theme and go with the Penny Panthers. Next up, we've got the Tigers taking on the Broncos, and I'm going to tip the Tigers just because I think they're going to get a good crowd there at Campbelltown. Benji's homecoming at Campbelltown, that's a big story. It'll be very interesting indeed. But yeah, I think they'll get it done. Of course, this is brought to us by sportsbet.com.au. No sponsorship related there, but I'm just going to shout out Sportsbet anyway. Moving on, we've got the Canberra Raiders taking on the New Zealand Warriors. The Raiders can't put a game to bed. They just can't at the moment. While the Warriors have been doing extremely well for the last 2 weeks, and even though I predicted them as the wooden spooners to start the year, they earned my tip again. Moving on to our second doubleheader of the season. South Sydney taking on Manly. Manly were absolutely sensational last week, but it's not that very hard when you verse a Parramatta side. It just spells trouble, doesn't it? I'll leave a link, if I remember, to that Daily Telegraph webpage where it's got an image on the screen of the acrostic poem that it says it spells trouble, and there's Parramatta and all their poor stats in an acrostic poem. It was really funny and I actually enjoyed it. So I'll tip Manly this week, just because Manly deserve to be tipped. Parramatta taking on Cronulla. Cronulla were really unlucky last week. They had a lot of things. They made a couple silly mistakes. But, you know what? I'm not going to tip Parramatta. Because, interesting enough, in round 4 in 2013, you might remember that Parramatta were trounced 50-0 by the Roosters. Next week, they versed the Sharks in the John Manor Cup, and they won that game. So I'm going to go for Parramatta and hope that my luck somehow prevails. Moving to, I don't know how this is the big 4 o'clock game of the week, but we're going with it. We're going to Toowoomba, and we're going to the Gold Coast Titans taking on the St George Illawarra Dragons in this game. I'm going to tip the Dragons. It's hard to tip against them at the moment. They're the top side in the NRL Telstra Premiership, and I think they'll get the job done. Moving on, we've got the Roosters taking on Newcastle. And ultimately, this is probably one of the matches of the round. It's the Roosters taking on the Newcastle Rooster Rejects. You know what? I'm going to tip an upset. The Knights have been really consistent of late, and I don't think they might get the job done this week. So what I've done is, for my normal tipping comps, is I've tipped opposite ones which I think are going to be like upsets. So this week I've tipped Cowboys, Panthers, Tigers, Warriors, Manly, Para, St George and Newcastle. Thanks for watching AJ Predicts. Remember to vote that poll question: should fans be given life bans for racist insults? Yes or no? I've had a good response to my poll questions over the last few weeks. See you guys later. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.